How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I'm going to talk about how to build your credit score even if you have a really low credit score like 600 and below. Generally, when you have a credit score of 600 and below, you can't get credit. So how can you get credit when you don't have credit? So it becomes like a chicken and egg problem. Generally, the most popular way to build your credit when you have a score of 600 and below is to get a thing called a secured credit card. It's where you pay something like $500. They secure that, they hold on to that money, and then you use a credit card as usual. It's just kind of used as a collateral so that in case you don't pay, they can use that to pay for whatever you spent. There's actually another way to build your credit, which is called a credit builder loan. Generally, they're offered by credit unions and community banks, but now you can actually get it through a website called Self-Lender, which means you can just get it online. Now, this video is actually sponsored by Self-Lender, but I've reviewed their product and I see that, yeah, it's a good product to help people that are in the low credit score range to build their credit faster. So in accepting that, and I actually would recommend it, so that's why I'm doing this video. Now, to get back to what a credit builder loan is, it's not like a traditional loan where you borrow money to buy something, motorcycle, laptop or something. Where you actually get the money and then you get to spend it. What happens here is that you get the loan, the self-lender company, they hold this money and they actually put it in a CD account. So they actually have collateral in case you default or something like that. And they can take that money and, you know, pay back themselves in case anything happens. The good part here is that when you get a secured credit card and a credit builder loan, you can build your credit much faster that way. Now, we know that if you get a higher credit score, you actually get a lower interest rate when you go get a car loan, a mortgage, or whatever. So a lower interest rate represents a huge chunk of money that you can save when you actually get those things. Now, if you don't actually plan to use your credit score to get a mortgage, to get a car loan or something, then you actually don't need the credit score, but most people do. When you do get the loan and you see that your credit score is higher for some reason, maybe because of this credit builder loan, it can represent a huge chunk of money because let's say you get an APR of, I don't know, 5%, and instead, because of your high credit score, it's 4.5%. Over the life of that loan, it's gonna be like thousands of dollars depending on the amount you borrow. It's gonna be a huge chunk of money. So this credit builder loan actually costs money. Now, let me review what this company is trying to sell. Now, before I get into the product itself, I'm going to convince you that I'm actually really good at my own credit score and I know what I'm talking about. At one point, my credit score is actually 848 out of 850, shown by this letter right here. Actually, it's back in 2013. So this is a while ago. I've shown this in other videos before, so I kind of hold this kind of like my badge or something. It's like I flash it and go, this is my badge. I know credit. Now, here is something more recent. You know, since then, I didn't care about my credit score so much. I've been getting credit card, canceling them, you know, just taking advantage of the points and stuff, because when you have a credit score of 800 plus, you know, I'm not even really using it all that much. So you can see, you know, the past credit history right here. It's hovering right here, 829, 26, 825, 25, 30, 26, 35, 828, 26, 30, 26, 29. So it just kind of hovers around there. And you know, it's great. It's up there, and I don't really care if it stays at 848 or something. Just as long as it's above 800, I'll still get the highest of the highest interest rates if I ever take a loan out. So that's proof right here. Now let's get on to the product itself. So what is a credit builder loan exactly? Self-Lender is actually a startup company and they're based in Texas. They have this arrangement with Austin Capital Bank where the process goes like this. They have one single product which is in the value of $1,100. Since then, they actually have something divide by 2 and multiply by 2, so you can have different denominations of this loan. Really, you can get the lower one and you'll still represent that you are actually a responsible payer of this self-builder loan. Initially, you sign up with them, you have to give them $12 for a fee to start up this loan. And what happens is right immediately, Self-Lender will deposit $1,100 into the Austin Capital Bank. And this money, you actually don't have direct access to it because it gets deposited in a CD, it gets 0.1% APR. Now, if you watch my other videos, you'll know that a really good APR is actually 1.05% right now. So it's kind of measly, but you're not really trying to do this for the APR here, because at the end of the loan, you're only gonna get about $1.10 worth of interest. What you're doing this for is to show the credit card companies that you're a responsible payer of a loan, even if it's to yourself. So you pay this $12, and subsequently every single month you pay $97 to self-lender. And at the end of 12 months, there's only a single year term over here. So you do this 12 times every single month. At the end, you'll get $1,101.10 back. So in a way, you are paying yourself. You're just putting it into a savings account time after time every single month, and at the end you get a large chunk of money. What is the actual fee here? You're paying $12 in fees. You're paying a little bit of fees every single month from an interest rate that you pay self-lender for lending you this $1,100. It's not lending it to you, but it's lending it to Austin Capital Bank. It's to you really, but you don't get to hold it. They're putting it in the bank for you. At the end of the full year, you gotta know how much you actually spend in order to put a good mark on your credit score. This is $74.90 for this particular product. Now, my analysis on this product is that, man, I certainly will never pay money to get a better credit score, given that I have a really good credit score already. However, if you have a really low credit score, you're kind of in a pinch, because if you're below 600, it'll take you a long time to build your credit with just secured credit cards. If you add on this product, this credit builder loan thing, you can build your credit a little bit faster. And if, let's say, you want to use your credit maybe 1 year later, it's actually a good thing to speed this up. Just as a side note, secured credit cards and credit builder loans are things that help you build your credit if you have a credit score of below 600. But there are other things you can immediately do to fix your credit. This is kind of like a credit repair type of thing, where you get a free credit report, comb through the whole credit report and see if there's any mistakes, and then you go fix them all. If you do this, you'll boost your credit score immensely just by doing that. There are other tips and tricks in my advanced finance playlist, so go check those out. There's a trick that you can do in your credit card payments to help boost your score. So when I look at this, a red flag goes up for me. The thing that concerns me is that if you're paying this $97 every month and you have a low credit score, your low credit score kind of demonstrates that maybe you cannot afford to pay $97 every month. Maybe 8 months in, you're gonna miss a payment. So the best way, I think, is maybe if you have some extra cash already in your savings account, more than $1,100, then this might be less of a risk for you. However, if you are going from paycheck to paycheck, you really shouldn't get this, even if you have a low credit score, because you're just gonna get this, waste $12, and then later on you're not gonna make the payment, and you're just gonna waste money paying in all these fees. So if you get this, you really have to make sure that you're going to complete the whole year worth of payments. At the end of the payments, you'll have this nice chunk of money that you can reinvest in this CD. I actually don't recommend to keep it in here because it's only 0.1%. Take it out, put it in Synchrony Bank that I recommended, put it in Discover Online Bank. You'll get a higher interest rate, and then you can, just building your nest egg that way. One of the things I look at when I look at this is, what if you default? What if you don't pay this? What happens? Yes, it will negatively affect your credit score, because this place is going to report to the credit bureaus that, yeah, you have this loan and you defaulted or you missed a payment or something. So it will negatively affect you. What you can do to mitigate this risk is that if you know you're going to be late, you can actually cancel out this loan. You can just close this account and not be late, and you'll actually get your money back, minus the interest rate that you have to pay for the months only that you're a member. Now let's say you want to cancel out the account in the middle of this period because you know you're not going to be able to make the payment. You can do that without negatively affecting this whole process. You can just kind of cut it short and they won't report like a late fee or anything like that, or a late payment. And what ends up happening is these $97 that you're putting in, you actually get back most of it. Now you still have to pay a fee. If you go through with it for the whole year, you have to pay $74.90. But if you go halfway through, you're actually not paying for the interest throughout the whole year of borrowing this $1,100. So the actual interest rate, it's gonna be vary a little bit, but it's gonna be something like $50 if you cut it halfway through. Just know that you don't have to, as soon as you sign up for this, you're not gonna have to pay the full $74. Now what happens if you're late? If you completely forgot about this account so for some reason, and you're late actually 80 days, it's going to be reported as defaulted. That's really, really bad. So you really need to make sure that if you're not going to make the payment, go and close the account. This is the most advisable way to do things. If you have a credit score of less than 600, this is a completely legitimate way to build your credit. Yes, you are paying a fee in order to boost your credit. But however, you do the same thing with secured credit cards as well, because some secured credit cards actually have to pay a yearly fee as well. Think of this as paying in order to get your credit score higher. I don't generally recommend paying to get your credit score higher because it should be free. You can organically do this, but it takes a long time. For me, it takes over 10 years in order to get my score that high. But if you really need it to go up faster, you have to pay for speedy delivery, of course. So $74.90, it's pretty reasonable to me. Self-lender actually offers their loans in other denominations, such as half of $1,100, $550, $1,100, and $2,200 to fit whatever payment plan that you can meet. I'd suggest to go conservative here. If you think you can meet 100, don't do the $97 one, do the smaller one, and really make sure that you can actually pay the payments. Sometimes 1 year out, it's hard to imagine what can be 1 year out, because even if you have like a couple $1,000s sitting in the savings account, you don't know what emergencies can happen. Maybe something suddenly happens and you don't have the money to pay the payments. Then you can still get this account, but you need to know to cancel and close the account immediately so that it won't affect your credit score. If you're interested in this product by Self-Lender, don't forget to check out the referral link down in the video description below. And if you actually get a credit builder loan through my referral link, you'll actually help out this channel. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoy this way of boosting your credit if you have a low credit score. Don't forget to give me a like over here, comment down below if you have any questions about this financial product, and don't forget to subscribe over here. Thanks for watching.